Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's Urban Leadership Post podcast. We're so grateful on today. Listen, we're just coming on, and if you would be so kind, we're going to ask you to please share this live with your peers, with your friends, with your followers. Share as we bring to you tonight's program. We're excited. Every first of the month, you can look for us in the evening. For the other days, every Friday, the second, third, and fourth Fridays, we are at 11 a.m. and then the first Friday of every month, we come on at 7. So thank you to our first of the month evening program. We're excited about our guest. He's going to share his vision of the Pastors and Leadership Summit that's upcoming. And so we have our co-host, Overseer Clay Burston from Baltimore. And again, we thank you. So again, share. And so, good evening, Overseer Knight. You're not a stranger to the program. You're a brother to us. And, thank you for coming on tonight. We wanted to be able to spotlight your upcoming conference. And so, or summit conference, but we wanted to be able to spotlight it on this evening so you can share with our audience the vision of the Pastors and Leaders Summit. And then we're going to talk about, leadership and why do you feel that it's important that we train and teach, in this new wave, as we've been calling it, in ministry.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to share on your podcast and show. Greatly honored and humbled to be a part of this. So thank you very much. Just to talk about the vision and the goal, the mission of the Pastors Leadership Summit. Our goal for the summit is that we wanted to shift the voice and the hearts of pastors while identifying struggles and concerns of leadership. Its function was to serve as a bridge to connect a comprehensive discussion among pastors while providing holistic oversight instruction for growth and development. The summit is multi-generational. It consists of pastors and their leaders or their leadership teams. And the goal is to provide wisdom, insight, to drive them to see kingdom advancement within their local assemblies. Where our goal is kind of bring a sense of excellence. We kind of use the E as the E experience. And with that E experience, we want people to explore, meaning that we want you to explore the most robust opportunities that are out there for you today to enhance your ministry. We want to equip you. We want to provide exposure and educational opportunities to help pastors and leaders position themselves to shift in the cultivation of their ministries. And lastly, we want to empower, because once you get information, we have to empower you to go forth with that information and begin to do the actual work. And so that's kind of the overall or a portion of the vision of the Pastors Leadership Summit, which we call the E experience. We want to give people an experience. And then on the side, a part of our mission and goal is to minister to the needs of pastors, in particular pastors and their teams, because for so long in our churches, the pastors and the teams, and most importantly, some of the pastors, they're pouring out. Even when we go to our local convocations, they're still pouring out. We're involved with this. Have to go to this meeting. What about a pastor and their leaders going to a meeting where they have absolutely nothing to do but be served? And so this is the concept and the model that we decided to use, or not, I shouldn't say decided to use, but it's deep in my heart when it comes to pastors and leaders.
And so, with you said this is like an extension of the E experience, right? And so, in the E experience, because I remember you, what year did that begin?
We began this 4 years ago. So
okay.
You're talking about, we are in 2012. I think it was 2018 or 19 was our first year that we took on this assignment to empower leaders. And our first year, we had about over 100 leaders within our local city that came, and they were amazed at the information, at the insight, at the fellowship, as to what they were given to help them in their ministries. And so it was a great thing to happen. And then we've been doing them every year since that, with the exception of 2020 when we had the COVID that transpired. We had to postpone our meeting during that time.
So I'm excited that my brother and my co-host, Overseer Clay, is going to be one of the facilitators at the conference.
Yes.
And I wanted you to share with us some of just some of the areas of ministry, or even just some of the topics, rather, that you will be covering in the summit.
Absolutely. So we have this summit is going to be 8 to 9 power pack seminars that are specifically geared to pastors and their leadership teams. They're going to focus primarily on developing the leaders. And so some of our topics are going to be the progression of women in a censored church culture. Another topic is going to be failure is not final. Another topic we're going to deal with is called secondary leaders. You're moving the vision to. We're going to talk about 7 people that you cannot have on your leadership team. We're going to talk about being authentically you. We're going to talk about help. My whole church is in transition. How do I deal with my whole church, not just the people, but my leadership? We are all in transition. And we're going to also talk about, have you been invited to the table? These are just a few of those topics that we're going to be discussing at our leadership summit during the month of April the 22nd and the 23rd. I mean, the 20th and the 22nd.
Okay, Pastor Overseer.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, Overseer Clay.
Overseer. So, yeah, man, I'm still getting used to the whole overseer thing. It's just really weird to hear my name, Overseer Clay, whatever. It's still weird. But yeah, so I'm so glad to see you, brother.
Yes.
But what I want to ask you is that we are living a few weeks ago, a video went out from a pastor. And I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've seen it because, a lot of my friends have sent it to me. And I think I shared it with Pastor Ray. And he said that he hit a wall. And many pastors feel like they've hit a wall, especially in the pandemic, where we need leadership support more than ever. And at the same time, people have they're finding their own way. And so a lot of pastors, and I shared with Pastor Ray, I said, Pastor, the part that really stuck with me when he said, I don't heal as quickly as I used to. That man.
Right.
I said, man, because when he said it, I felt it like that is true. When we were a young pastor in it, or just not in age, but just starting out, you're full of energy, you're full of, you kind of just can just take on the world. What do we say to pastors who may have hit a wall and they may not just be able to heal as quickly as they used to. Because now we're trying to heal and figure out streaming and figure out how to lead virtually. And, you know, so what are some tidbits or some helpful points for pastors who are watching who may be considering coming to the conference, for those pastors who may not have the strength to even come to the conference because they feel like, man, what's the point?
Right. Well, I believe we have to redefine what we call church and how church and how we do church, how we do ministry. What I mean by that is that in particular in our culture, we have a high demand when it comes to shepherding or pastoring for the lead shepherd, or they call it the senior pastor, where I believe a huge percentage of the stress and the burden is primarily on the leader. And so when we look at other cultures, a lot of that particular methodology does not exist to that fashion. Now, it does exist, but it doesn't exist to that particular aspect. So a lot of times in our churches, you don't hear in a lot of our churches that our pastors take a break. You don't hear that our pastors are permitted to take vacations. You don't hear that our pastors are permitted to take any type of sabbaticals because there's a fear of loss. And so we have to redefine what pastoring is. And what I've done is we have a leadership team or a leadership course that I've been teaching potential elders as well as leading elders in churches. And one of the first things we go over is that your assignment as an elder or within leadership of your church is that you are there to assist in carrying the weight. And so I think we have to redefine ministry where we no longer place so much pressure, unreasonable expectations on a pastor. For some pastors, it's time for them to kind of come off their high pedestals and begin to help assist in carrying the weight of ministry, the way the biblical design of it that is there. And so I think that's part of the problem. In my particular ministry, I'm fortunate enough, and we're not a large ministry, but we're a good size. I'm fortunate enough that I'm off 2 months of the year. So for 2 months, in the month of July and the month of November, part of December, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to preach. I don't have to teach. But can I tell you why that is? Because I've trained our leadership staff and teams to accept this model so that I can function. And I think so that's part of that, I think, aspect that we have to do. I'm not judging the pastor because I don't know all the circumstances, but I do understand, and I felt those same feelings, but so that we don't burn out, so that we're not in a situation where we can't clock out. Like we gotta come back and say, pastors, you do have permission to clock out. So, I think that's part of it. And another part of it is I've been in church all my life. And so one of our issues is that we made pastors not be human. You understand what I'm saying? When I was a kid, I thought our leaders were perfect until they died. And I found out stuff. And so, you know what I'm saying? They did what? What? So we made them not human. And I think that a part of our, when we're teaching about salvation and we're teaching about walking this walk of Christ, we got to bring the humanity side to us and not have us in these living lifestyles that nobody can do. Having expectations that nobody can do it. And so that kills us. And so I think that's just one thing that I would share with a pastor who may be in that midst of, do I come? Do I not come? I'm exhausted. Listen, you are the perfect person to come because you are the one that we want to revive. You are the one we want to kind of build up. You are the one we want to give you new opportunities and challenge you to rethink how you're doing ministry. We understand that pain because all of us have been there. But at the end of the day, we want to heal and want to show you how you can heal. And so that's what I would say to that particular leader or those leaders who who are in that, because we understand it. But we can all work together, and we can all get you to a point where, hey,